We've been talking about how most people concentrate on what I'm calling the symptoms of their problems, the things that were in the black circle on the core issues chart. So I want to connect the dots for you. And we're going to start with the root issue, the core issue of fear. Let me give you an example from someone I knew that struggled with anger. The interesting thing about anger is anger helps us to actually not feel pain. It's like kind of powerful to kind of feel a rush, and it's like wearing an armor or a shell, where underneath that anger could be vulnerability, it could be insecurity, it could be lots of fear of rejection, all kinds of fears. But if I don't like that sensation of feeling vulnerable and feeling fearful, I will put on that armor and I will look to the world like I don't have any fears, but I come across as an angry person. So maybe your problem is anger, maybe it's relational difficulties, it could be depression, it could be any of the things in the black circle. But I want to challenge you to take a look at the core issue of fear. I see fear as one of two main things, if it's the kind of fear that can be a core issue. The first one is one that's so common in the world we live in. I call it a lifestyle of stress and anxiety. So God created human beings to live in peace. There's actually a medical term for that. It's called homeostasis. So picture a chart. I've got actually a chart I want you to look at. It's called the red zone chart. Look at that chart and you'll see down at the very bottom is homeostasis or peace. God-given, you don't have any damage to your body when you're living in peace. That's logical. But God also gave us something called the fight or flight response. At the opposite end of that chart, we have the power to respond to dangerous situations with squirts of adrenaline in our cardiovascular system and cortisol in our and the other parts of our body, our autoimmune system, to enable us to deal with crises. But God never intended us to live in that state of arousal. So when we live in stress or anxiety on a daily basis, and I'm talking about a daily basis, we have an elevated sense of not feeling at peace, not feeling safe, living with chaos, living with craziness around us. We subject our bodies, our souls, and our spirits to a root of fear that's so powerful, it can cause your body to actually begin to break down. If you live in that place too long, that elevated state, over a period of time, you can begin to experience physical symptoms. In the autoimmune area, I have seen people who got healing for the root of fear that about 30 days after they experienced the healing, their body began to reset its system and they no longer had the symptoms of the autoimmune disorder that they had experienced. It's crazy how powerful this is, the root of fear in the lives of human beings. It steals our peace, it steals our joy, and honestly, I think it's one of the most common roots. So a lifestyle of stress and anxiety is one of the powerful ways that fear can affect us, but another one is what I call life-dominating fears. So not fear of bugs and spiders, that is one. Those kind of fears can be pretty powerful. But right now I want you to think about the kind of fears that affect everything we do, kind of at a subconscious level. So what do I mean by that? If we have a fear of rejection, that's one of the big ones. Fear of rejection will affect the way we act towards other people. Some people I know with a huge fear of rejection will push other people away. They don't want to get hurt again. They don't want to get rejected again, so they won't let people get close to them. I think you would say they have a problem with intimacy. They're fine when relationships are on the surface, but once they try to move in a normal relationship to intimacy, and I'm talking about relational intimacy, they freeze up and they will literally block that person out of their life because of the fear of rejection. Other people I know, the fear of rejection motivates them to cling. They finally find somebody who will accept them and they just latch onto them and they hang on to them. And what it does to the person they've attached to, it makes them feel like they're being sucked dry. So what does that person do? Not right away, but over time, they begin to push them away. more rejection. So it's a cycle that literally steals the good out of life. Another life-dominating fear is fear of failure. This one's so big, oh my goodness. It drives perfectionism. You know, I had a friend one time I was talking to, and she really struggled with a lot of issues in her life. And when I pointed out that she might be just a little bit perfectionistic, she said, I thought that was one of my better qualities. So it sounds good. Wanting to do things well sounds good, but perfectionism will drive you like a tyrant driving a slave. It's like you got a little slave driver inside of you telling you must, you should, you ought. And so instead of just doing a good job, you have to do a perfect job. And if you do a perfect job occasionally, you only give yourself praise for just a few minutes, and then the next thing is right in front of you. You have to perform all over again. So it's a performance orientation that steals your joy, that steals your peace, and it's all based on I must perform in order to be acceptable. The third one I want you to think about is fear of punishment. Sometimes fear of punishment makes me feel like the other shoe is going to drop. Whenever good things happen to me, I'm always expecting something bad's about to happen. Sometimes it's me feeling like I deserve to be punished. If I mess up, because I'm a human, I will mess up. I am much harder on myself than I would be on you if you did the exact same thing. So fear of punishment will cause me to feel like I should be punished. And if no one else punishes me, I punish myself with guilty feelings. Sometimes, just to throw this in there, it can come out as you have a need to punish other people because you think they deserve to be punished if they make mistakes. So all of these life-dominating fears can be core issues that can cause any of those symptoms that we just looked at in this core issues circle on the outside. So I want you to really look into that, lean into that, and examine that.